Welcome to the Story of the Week. This week's story is an opinion written by Ian Stewart. It's titled, Should We Be Done with Kanye? Musician and fashion designer Kanye West, otherwise known as Ye, has been a controversial figure in the media over the last decade. The artist's most recent actions and statements seem to have gotten more offensive, ignorant, and dangerous. While attending Paris Fashion Week to promote his fashion collection on October 3rd, West, alongside conservative commentator Candace Owens, has been seen wearing a black shirt reading White Lives Matter, a phrase that spawned as a counter to the Black Lives Matter movement and commonly used by many white supremacist groups. Following this, West made numerous anti-Semitic remarks on Twitter, which resulted in his Twitter account being locked due to his violation of the site's policies. He also appeared in an hour-long interview with Fox News talk show host Tucker Carlson, in which he made multiple controversial remarks, some of which were once again anti-Semitic, but were edited out of the interview that went to air. "I prefer my kids knew Hanukkah than Kwanzaa. At least it will come with some financial engineering," said Ye, clearly referencing one of the longest-standing and most pervasive anti-Semitic tropes, the idea that Jews control the world's financial system. This past weekend, West appeared on the Drink Champs podcast and claimed the death of George Floyd was caused by fentanyl. I watched the George Floyd documentary that Candace Owens put out. One of the things that his two roommates said they want was a tall guy like me. And the day that he died, he said a prayer for 8 minutes. West told Drink Champs, "They hit him with the fentanyl. If you look, the guy's knee wasn't even on his neck like that." As if all these incidents were not reprehensible enough, it appears there is yet another twist on the Kanye roller coaster ride. He is now in the process of purchasing the social media platform Parler, a site that is popular among right-wing users. Many conservative U.S. politicians and broadcasters have accounts. However, so do many extremist groups. Google, Apple, and Amazon banned Parler from their app stores, web hosting platforms, for failing to monitor violent material after the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol building, as some rioters even posted footage and photos of storming and ransacking the Capitol on the app. The platform returned to app stores after leadership and moderation policy changes. How the platform will be managed with West at the helm is anyone's guess, but it's unlikely to be positive. Kanye has reached a point where the things he is saying aren't just ignorant and ill-informed, but rhetoric that has proven to have real-world consequences. These latest incidents are far from the first time West has been dangerously reckless with his words and actions. Back in 2018, West claimed slavery was a choice, in a case of slave mentality rather than people physically being held in bondage. In reality, slavery was a system of oppression that included the use of physical violence, torture, murder, and rape to maintain compliance. Furthermore, his overall premise utterly diminishes the mental strength and perseverance enslaved people needed to endure 100 years of oppression. Alongside this, during his 2020 presidential campaign, West insulted the legacy of Harriet Tubman by claiming, "Harriet Tubman never actually freed the slaves. She just had the slaves go work for other white people." I don't see this as a momentary way of Ye trying to maintain relevance, but rather another example of his downward spiral. Not only was the statement flawed and ignorant, but it was also incredibly insulting to Tubman's memory and the sacrifices made by the many people's ancestors, including West. All of this is made even worse considering the large following that he has gained and how loyal many of them are. Even now, in the wake of what arguably are his most extreme and abhorrent comments, fans of his career continue to enable and encourage West's behavior. Many people defend him by citing his past creative works and declare him a genius. I myself enjoy some of Kanye's past music, but I do not think it is responsible to ignore or excuse his statements based on his creative work. It has reached a point where supporting and contributing to his current activities will only empower West even more, along with people who parrot the same, if not worse, language. Something I hear many of Kanye's older fans is that they say they hope Kanye eventually gets better and will go back to being the person that he was in the early to mid 2000s. I can sympathize with wanting to see a creator whose work you still admire get better, and I personally feel you can enjoy an artist's previous works while still being critical of the artist as a person. But should the public continue to line his pockets by streaming his music, buying his albums, and flocking to stores to snap up the latest Yeezy gear? The danger with Kanye's rhetoric is that if it continues to go unchecked and ignored by people, there will be real-life repercussions for these talking points being parroted by such an influential figure. Case in point, according to the Anti-Defamation League, more than 400 anti-Semitic incidents have been reported so far this year, including acts of vandalism and violence at synagogues. It is crucial for this type of rhetoric not to become legitimized in the mainstream and treated as acceptable language. When all of this is said and done, Ye may very well be a creative genius, and continuing to support his music and fashion empire is a personal choice. But he is undeniably a bigot, and in the past few weeks his prejudice have become ubiquitous as his Yeezy slides and sneakers. Thanks to the clout of his influence. In questioning whether to support him, maybe we should remember Kanye's own lyrics. Run away from me, baby. Run away as fast as you can.